Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Cancer energy. And like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row I'll refer to as high vibe Cancer energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy energy. We've all got our dualistic nature of free will and we have to make decisions in our life. And the more worldly nature can just represent that we kind of like to stay in our comfort zone. And if we were to move forward in life differently, that can be scary. Other people in our life might not like it. It might mean that we'd think about getting a different job, different friend, different relationships, quit certain habits, and all those things can kind of change our life in a way that some people just decide to keep living in their comfort zone and will keep kind of repeating an old pattern until, I don't know, it's just not our truth anymore, and we kind of work through our fear and insecurity about moving forward in life differently and have some hope and faith and belief in our dreams or love ourselves or heal or something. But so some people could be, and everything's kind of relative, that, you might know some people who you think are more worldly and shadowy, maybe immature or bossy or controlling or egotistical or self-centered. Those people in turn might know people in their life that are more bossy or controlling or immature or self-indulgent than they are. So in relationship to other people, we're at whatever level of kind of life lessons and maturity level that we are. And there can always be some people in the world who haven't learned some of those lessons, right? So, and Cancer energy is about love and self-love, and high vibe Cancer energy is learning that it is supposed to be just and fair. Love is supposed to be just and fair. Sometimes you can be a very loving person and nurturing person, and you play that role in people's lives, but they're not in that energy, and it seems more like a mismatched relationship. And eventually, you kind of like to be in relationships with people who've learned some of the same lessons that you've learned. So, the reason for the top row's reading is success and love. The reason for the bottom row's reading is the wealthy man. And the way I read tarot is that the masculine energies can represent how we present ourselves in the world. And the wealthy man would be like the King of Pentacles, where people look stable, abundant in different ways. People that people would want to hire for a job, go into business with, promote at a job, date, marry, be a friend with, right? And some of you have, we've all been in relationships with people. And it can represent like a boss, a father, other people in our life. But you could look at the success and love as Two of Cups Cancer energy. We can harness our Cancer energy different. We could feel like one person hasn't quite learned some of the lessons that we've learned. They might look like they have. They might be in the same age group or seeming to present themselves in a way that you present yourself in the world. But maybe you could feel shadowy Cancer can be that anyone can harness. You could feel like they use their emotions more manipulatively, that what really drives them, whether they're male or female, they could be more aligned with, more caught up in themselves for the world or these things they like to indulge in instead of love. They might love, might like to be in relationships with people, but they don't really work together cooperatively with people from a foundation of love, because love isn't the foundation they operate from. And in our free will, we're either building a foundation on truth and love and growing and maturing ourselves, or we're kind of still more about ourselves or indulgence or our ego or money or materialism or status or image, and want to be in relationships with people kind of a little more for those reasons or a lot more for those reasons than love. But anybody can try to present themselves, male or female, that I'm the person you're looking for, you should date me, you should hire me, you should marry me. And you come in contact with all these different people to get clear about what your truth is and get clear about more what their truth is. And the people in our life who we do seem to be more on the same page with, who seem to have learned some of the lessons that we've learned, more motivated by love than other things, those are people we're going to keep moving forward with. So in the top row, we have disconnection, journey, divine support, and great fortune. So you might have had to, and this is a feminine figure, so the feminine figures can talk about how we think and feel. Some people are emotionally disconnecting from either their more worldly viewpoint of life, because they could have found it more emotionally shallow and superficial, and they've kind of become enlightened that it's love that makes all these things worthwhile. You know, being in a job that I love, being in friendships with people who are loving and supportive and encouraging, and maybe making my life more about me or indulgence or status or ego or image. It wasn't, you know, if it isn't something you love and people aren't working together with you cooperatively, you could like to stay in that job, you could like to stay in that friendship or that relationship. So the disconnection card is kind of reminding me of the death card in tarot, which is Scorpio energy. High vibe Scorpio is people who want, that anyone can harness, is that you want a more deep, meaningful relationship and to explore the mysteries of life emotionally. We're emotionally complex human beings, and some people before could have kind of discredited their emotional nature. You know, it's kind of like, oh, if I have these things of the world, or I go indulge in these things of the world, or I have sex with people, you know, that's good enough. And they could have went and pursued those things and realized it is kind of shadowy Scorpio. It's superficial and shallow. So they emotionally disconnect to go on this journey of probably, with the journey card kind of being a black and white card, and, you know, the people kind of look like from the 1940s or 1960s. It's kind of to work, to make peace with the past and kind of realize how we could have been repeating a past pattern, maybe because of some past pain and heartbreak, some self-limiting beliefs. And I think we'll all kind of repeat certain patterns until we're illuminated to the truth that, why am I not kind of living my more authentic life? And again, it could be because we were in more codependent energy. We were more wanting to go indulge in these things of the world that we thought for sure was the truth and would make us happy. And then we kind of realized we were kind of repeating an old pattern, and we don't want to repeat that old pattern. And in divine support, you know, maybe listening to our intuition about what would truly make us feel abundant within ourselves and stable within ourselves, and who do we want to be in long-term friendships and relationships with. And the great fortune, of course, is kind of reminding me of the Ten of Pentacles. And in high vibe, the Ten of Pentacles is about being in relationships, being more balanced within yourself. We always have our more worldly nature foundation that we operate from. We also have our more hopeful, believing nature if we want to kind of be more balanced between the two, where, yes, there are these things of the world that I love, and there are things about the world and things I want to manifest in my life. But equally as important is to kind of grow to my full potential, learn lessons in life, be self-aware, make decisions more out of love than fear or lust or greed or pride or ego, and being in relationships with other people who've learned those lessons and have self-awareness and self-insight and have done this inner work within themselves to detach from some old ways of being, because throughout our life, we live our life at a phase of life, we learn lessons at that phase of life, and then we kind of take the good building blocks and things that we have learned are good building blocks to keep moving forward with, and we kind of see what we need to emotionally detach from. If it is our more worldly ways, our more immature ways, other people who we might feel are more worldly or manipulative, and things like that. We work through that. And you want to be in relationships with other people who've kind of detached from some old ways of being or viewing life, just like you have, Motivated to want to be in stable, grounded, insightful, loving, and in high vibe. The Ten of Pentacles also is about building a solid foundation based on a foundation of truth and love. Because otherwise you're building a foundation on shifting sand. It's for some reason other than truth and love. It's lust, greed, pride, ego, codependency, fear, insecurity, wanting to be bossy and controlling and unjust and unfair, or more about yourself. And you want to be in relationships with people who are more motivated and inspired by love. So, in the bottom row, though, if we were to see the truth, the Ten of Pentacles is like high vibe Virgo energy. And in our high vibe Virgo nature that anyone can tap into, we kind of do this inner work within ourselves. Why don't I move forward in life differently? The bottom row can represent how we're manipulated by the world. And the world, that the big picture, is kind of represented by the devil. All these things that manipulate us, that make us feel restricted and confined and oppressed and imprisoned. And why do I stay in jobs and friendships and relationships that I don't really like? Did I get in a career field I don't really love? But I kind of thought, nope, that's what'll make me happy. And then we kind of, maybe during our life, we start to look at life differently, that maybe the bottom row can also mean that people are kind of tipped out of balance, that I've kind of let these things of the world or other people in my life or the world at large or my ego or my lust or my greed or my pride or my ego or my defensiveness, whatever it could be, kind of keep me tipped, kind of driving on that side of the road of life in my dualistic nature. And I've kind of realized that I want to be more balanced and tipped in favor of having more hope and faith and belief in myself, not make my life maybe so much about what I wear and what I drive and what I look like and who I'm dating and how much money I make and who I'm in a relationship with or if I'm in a relationship or not. High vibe energy is being independent of your more worldly egoic nature, knowing your worth and value, living your more authentic life, being free to go live your life, because kind of seeing through the illusion. And Scorpio can be about being caught up in the illusion of the world and our fear, or all those things. And I want to do this work within myself to free myself with the truth and love. There's certain ways of living life, or ways I felt about myself, or ways I viewed life, and it keeps me stuck repeating this old pattern, and I want to feel more stable and abundant and love myself and believe in myself. And I have to do all this work within myself to offer myself love and compassion, forgiveness, offer love and compassion to other people in my life, that they're where they're at. If they had learned some of these lessons and done some of this inner work within themselves, they could be a more just and fair and stable and grounded and loving person. But it does take work and effort. I view the King of Pentacles as Capricorn energy. Shadowy Capricorn energy is represented by the devil. So, we all harness Capricorn energy, and we're either more aligned and have more things that manipulate us, or we've kind of put in the work and effort to free ourselves from things that manipulate us emotionally in our worldly nature. And Virgo energy is like the earth sign energy that we tap into to transition from one phase to another phase of life. And we've done this in our life, when we were 15, when we were 18, when we were 21, when we were 25. We had to detach from a more immature way of viewing life to believe in ourselves, that we could move forward kind of victoriously facing our fears to go to that next phase of life and believe I can do it, I can overcome. But we had to work through the fears that we had about believing in ourselves. And it did require us to become more independent from an old way of being. And when we became independent of an old way kind of being and living life and viewing life, we maybe had to distance ourselves kind of emotionally, just like we had to move out from home, and go live our more independent life. We had to be less codependent on that foundation. And there's some people that can be 45, 65, whatever, they're still really codependent on their original friend group or their original family, to be like the foundation that they look to make them feel stable and secure, because they haven't done this work within themselves to feel more stable and secure within themselves, and maybe haven't learned to love themselves. And then they could just make the foundation that they're more codependent on is the world. If I make my life and I wear this and I dress like this and I act like this and I do these activities, will the world look to me and validate my worth and value and view me as a stable, abundant person? Because I haven't learned to be less codependent on how other people view me. High vibe energy is, I'm going to go out in the world and I'm going to go treat other people the way I like to be treated, with love. I'm going to treat people in a just and fair, respectful, loving way. And if there's people that don't like that, well, you're not wearing the right thing. It's like, okay, yeah, you and me aren't on the same page. How about you go hang out with people who are wearing the right thing? Or, well, but, you're not putting in work and effort to act a certain way and have a certain status and image, and we don't want to move forward with people who don't do that. It's like, well, then you go hang out with those people who do that. I want to move forward with people who, it's not shadowy, like King of Pentacles energy, male or female, can be people who it's more operating from their ego and how they present themselves in the world. It's kind of more superficial and shallow. Don't you want to be my friend? Don't you want to date me? Look what I'm wearing. Look how much money I have. Look how attractive I am. Look how much social clout I have. And some people have already been in relationships with people like that, and they decided to move on. I would rather move on with people who have a little bit more depth to them. Again, the difference between more emotionally shallow and superficial, but we can be tempted to stay in those jobs and those friendships and the relationships because it might have status and image and social clout and stability and security, or pay us more money if it's a job. But, it kind of gets to be, I can't stay here. It doesn't matter what perks and benefits there are. I can't keep living a more emotionally shallow, superficial life, or keep being invested in things and people that don't want to invest in love, because I do want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. And some people don't, and we need to see the truth of it. We all do what's just and fair, and we all have lessons to learn in life, and there could be some people right now, boy, the most important thing, whether they're male or female, is to have a certain status or image, have the world view them a certain way, have a certain, I don't know, something. Or just these things they want to go indulge in to make themselves feel better, instead of healing. And that's where shadowy energy, represented by the devil, is kind of all these things we can go make our life about or go indulge in to make us feel better. But, the devil lies. It's like, that's why it's seeing through the illusion. But some people, it takes work and effort to free yourself from the illusion and these things that you think are more important than love. Getting out of your more codependent energy and learning to love yourself and appreciate yourself and what you bring to the table. And some people, that's not, I just want to go indulge in those things or make my life about it. That's okay. I can do without love. That's unimportant, And if that's their truth, that's their truth. So let's go look at the bottom row. We have the long road, the book, the garden, and the bouquet. So, the book they're referencing is Pisces energy, and of course the book makes me think about learning lessons in life, right? And some people got a lot of lessons to learn. And we do meet people, and it's like, again, they can be bossy, they can be manipulative, they can be egotistical, they can be self-centered, whatever. And it's like, yeah, you got a lot of lessons to learn about how to work cooperatively with people in a workplace or family dynamics, But Pisces energy can be people, again, who are caught up in the illusion. And they can have these illusions about what it means to be in relationships with other people. No, no, no. I can be more about me, or I can use these things that I have to get people to stay in a relationship with me. I'll tempt them with these things of the world that I have, or that, and people can use all sorts of things of the world that they have. I'll use my emotions manipulatively. I'll use my sexuality manipulatively. I'll use my looks. I'll use my charm. I'll use my money. I'll use my social clout. All these things I can use in a more manipulative way. And for some people, that is how they view life. They think everybody is just trying to manipulate and create an illusion about who they are in the world. And they haven't been illuminated to the truth that some people really have gotten out of their more worldly egoic nature, and they really are who they say they are. And they really are motivated and inspired by love. But since, we tend to think other people are like ourselves, and if there's people in the world operating more who think it's all about creating this image in the world and creating this illusion in the world that you don't live your authentic life, you don't shine your own light. It's all about trying to get people to invest in you in the world and have a certain status or image. Well, in their Libra energy of self, at any stage of life, we lived our life because we thought that was just and fair. When we were 50 and we lived life a certain way, we thought that was just and fair. We were all caught up in it. And then hopefully in our Virgo energy, the difference is that some people will never get out of their more worldly egoic nature or being full of themselves. And they're going to keep moving forward because in our Virgo energy, what is our long-term goal? My long-term goal is about me or these things of the world. Other people are kind of motivated and inspired to grow and heal and mature themselves and grow to their full potential and get out of their more worldly egoic nature and letting their fear and their insecurity and their pride and their ego and their false self run their life. I want to go live my authentic life. I don't want my ego to run my life. And some people, it's kind of like you're either letting your growing and healing and maturing yourself to authentically be yourself in the world, being authentically who you say you are. When you present yourself in the world, you really are who you say you are. You're a more emotionally mature, stable, grounded, balanced person who in high vibe Capricorn that you harness, you have freed yourself from some more immature, shadowy ways of being to invest in love and grow up and mature yourself. And some people think, well, I don't want to do that. That means I would have to get more balanced within myself because Libra energy is about being balanced. And I think in my Libra energy, it's just and fair to be more in favor of myself or the world. And my long-term goal is to go indulge in the world or make it more about me. And they want to find people in the world who are kind of on the same page as them. That's kind of funny with the book, just like being in school, you can't the truth sets us free, and high vibe Virgo energy is about seeing the truth, doing this inner work to listen to our more creative, inspired, hopeful, believing nature, to like grow to the potential that we could have grown to, you know? And some people maybe don't even believe they can do that because they might know. Pisces energy is also represented by the moon, which can be a lot of fears and insecurities that people keep hidden beneath the surface. And shadowy Scorpio can be people who, you know, we are emotionally complex human beings. And some people are like, oh my God, I just find it so confusing. I just don't even want to connect in with them. You know, to a degree, I connect in with my emotions to work together with other people. But basically, I kind of like to keep them buried beneath the surface and live more from my mind than my heart. And just create an illusion I'm more motivated by love than I am, that I'm more balanced than I am, but I'm really more motivated by me or the world or these things of the world. It's not really love, because that would require me to get out of my ego or my fear or self-indulgent nature. And I'd have to do this work within myself to figure out why I even do that. And why it kind of manipulates me. And instead of doing that, I'm happy investing in that still. And people will keep investing in a way of living life and viewing life, I guess, so long as they find it emotionally fulfilling. But other people come into their life and they might have been under the, you know, we could have all been at the same page at one time. But other people had more hope and faith and belief that we grow and heal and change and mature over time, and we shed an old layer of ourselves, kind of like my nesting dolls over there. We shed being 15 to be more like an 18-year-old, and then to be more like a 21-year-old, and be more like a 25-year-old, and more like a 35, and a 45, and a 55, right? And then they get in a relationship with some people like this, and they realize that they want to keep moving forward. So the shadowy energy can kind of be where people aren't ever giving birth to anything new because there's nothing they want to detach from. And we just have to accept that, say you work at a place with people, right? And you're kind of learning lessons there, and you would kind of like to feel proud of yourself that I think I can take on more responsibility, and say there's no more future opportunities to like grow and mature yourself and kind of grow to your full potential at that job. Well, then you would be willing to face your fears to move forward in life, to go find a different job. And there's other people that would never leave that job. And some people have no motivation to even learn the next step of a job. Hey, you want to learn how to do this? You've been there and done that for like a year or two. It's like, well, no, that looks confusing, or that looks scary, or I don't know if I could do it. And they won't even check it out, really, to even see it. And to each their own. Everyone has free will to live their life whatever way they want. We just need to see the truth. If we are kind of motivated more by love, other people not so much. If other people much more comfortable repeating an old pattern and staying in their comfort zone all their life, and it's like, are we ever going to do anything different? Must we go bowling every Friday night? Or must we do this? Or must we do that? It's like, do we ever get inspired to just explore the mysteries of life? That's like high vibe Scorpio, So let's go see what is coming up. I think when we all have the free will to live our life whatever way we want. There's just consequences for our decisions. And I think high vibe energy at the big picture kind of represented by God. The devil represents kind of staying dead and stagnant, not giving birth to anything new. And high vibe energy, represented by God at the big picture, is that, to give birth to new things, divine support. You are given intuition, creativity, imagination, your own unique talent, skills, and interest that will make your life feel more abundant. And when you invest in those things, it's kind of like that high vibrational energy, or the divine, kind of works with you to figure out a way of how that can provide you with stability and security, and also to get you more in alignment with people who are kind of more on the same page as you. So what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Cancer energy that they might not see coming up? That's way too many cards. Just 1, 2, 3 cards would be good. That they might not see coming up. Needless, I think, shadowy energy again can kind of be in our pride and ego. And, we're an animal in the animal kingdom, and the animals of the world, other than human beings, they do listen to their inner nature and their inner guidance to kind of go with the flow. Like bats have sonar. Gee, I'm going to use my sonar to navigate in the dark. If bats had free will, there'd probably be some people that'd be like, well, no, I don't like that, or I don't need that, and I don't have to. You could look at that as listening to our intuition. Our intuition was given to us as a gift to help us navigate in this world, and our creative, inspired spirit, which is also, being inspired in our Pisces energy to get the justice we deserve and to invest in growing and healing and maturing ourselves. We all can feel at different times in our life that maybe something didn't work out the way we wanted, and it feels like it would be a long road to get back up on our feet again, or get over some pain or heartbreak or whatever. High vibe people do this work within their shadow nature to have that hopeful, believing spirit, willing to put in the work and effort to maintain balance within themselves, to kind of like get back up on their feet again. If they drove their own life off into the ditch, which we all probably have to some degree or another, kind of lost our way, high vibe people put in the work and effort to get back up onto the road of life and get more balance within themselves. They put in the work and effort. Other people are just looking to get in relationships. Say something went off in the ditch, somebody lost a job, but they don't want to see the truth. We can live in illusion about things that happened in the past, or want to stay in denial, kind of indulge ourselves emotionally. And then those people think, no, the way I was just and fair, and I'm going to keep doing it this way. And then they try to go get another job, and then that job maybe doesn't work out. And then it's like, oh, no, I am unwilling to deal with the truth. Or, like maybe I go get in jobs that are not suited for me, just like people can go get in relationships. But if we never see the truth, and the King of Pentacles holds 1 pentacle, and in high vibe, that means they did this inner work to see the truth. And there's some people that it's like, no, that's not how I harness my Virgo energy. I don't want to do that inner work. I don't want to look at those things I keep hidden in the dark. In my pride and ego, I'm going to keep moving forward just the way I've been moving forward. It's like repeating the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different outcome. Maybe refusing to listen to their intuition. Their intuition could be telling them, you are bossy, you are immature, you are controlling something, or you're being manipulative. And they're like, I don't care. I refuse. Or I don't want to do love, so I'm not going to do love. I would rather be in a relationship, create an illusion, because I think that's just and fair. I don't even want to do love. And if I could be in a relationship where it looks like I have justice in the world, that's who I'm going to invest in. Well, I just think there's rules to this game of life, and some people can create an illusion with people like, I love you. I want to move forward with you in a relationship. They get those people to move forward with them in a relationship. But if the other people are more high vibe and they're more motivated by love, eventually those people see that these people, the relationship like doesn't grow and mature themselves because they don't. And eventually those people realize like their dream isn't going to come into reality with them. They listen to their intuition. They want the justice they deserve, and they're willing to become independent of them, because also Virgo energy is about being more independent in the world. And they move on because they want to be in authentic loving relationships. And then some of these people can't understand, well, why did those people go get in a relationship with those people? I act like that person. I dress like that person. I might look like that person. I might act and talk like that person. High vibe energy is being authentic. Shadowy energy, it's like a mental construct of the mind. I'm going to act like this. I'm going to talk like this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to laugh then. I'm going to be sad then. And it's like this whole mental construct, and other people are authentically living their life. And some of these people just don't get it. I don't understand. I've created this whole way of being in the world that seems just like those people. Why isn't this working? Because those people aren't living more from their mind than their heart. They're being authentic. But I have more than them, or I have more social clout, or more money, or more status, or I dress better. I'm more attractive. Because people want to be in relationships with people who are self-aware, mature, encouraging, loving, someone they can really have a connection with emotionally. And all this person offers can be the superficial. It looks like love, it talks like love, it acts like love, it quacks like love, but it doesn't feel like love. And again, you can feel like someone's in a relationship with you more because of the ego or the image or the indulgence that they get to indulge in being in a relationship than really being in it for love. So what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Cancer energy that they might not see coming? The Five of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. Why? Because of the King of Cups. So the fives talk about change. And when we've had to detach or kind of distance ourselves from certain people in life because we kind of realized we weren't on the same page anymore, high vibe people can, and other people that we're not on the same page with a lot of people, we can wish each other peace and love. We're kind of maybe sad, but, you want to go do those things. I kind of want to go do these things. And, we're just kind of not on the same page, but I wish you peace and love and have a great life. And same way with our siblings and our parents. We accept that everybody, we kind of all don't like to do the same things and on the same page, right? But it's more challenging if it is like a long-term friend or a romantic interest because we really kind of want them to be on the same page as us. And the Five of Swords is Aquarius energy. We had a dream. And the Queen of Pentacles can represent a lot of these institutions of the world. It could be a workplace. It could be a friendship. It could be family members. It could be relationships. It could be marriages. We wanted to stay in that job. We wish other people would have worked together with us more cooperatively. We wish we were more on the same page as people. But high vibe people offer love to the situation. And the Queen of Pentacles is holding the one pentacle. So they've done this work within themselves to accept the truth of a situation. I have to accept that everybody's kind of where they're at. Everybody's kind of motivated by what they're motivated by and their idea of the dream life and the dream relationship. And they have what more drives and motivates them, and I have more what drives and motivates me. And sometimes we're just not on the same page. And because you offer love to the situation, and I view the King of Cups as Cancer energy, all we can do is offer truth and love to people. And there's going to be some people that are like, no, I'm not going to head your way. That's not my truth. It's like, okay. And then there's other people that could be encouraged to do the work within themselves, to work through why they live their life the way they do it, or why their fear, their insecurity manipulates them. And, there's going to be some people that are going to go on this journey with you, and there's going to be some people in your world who aren't. But because you offer love to the situation, you don't kind of get in your ego about it, which is like, God, this should work out the way I want it. And God's like, they got free will. That's not where they're at. Well, I have mental conflicts. I wanted to invest in them, or I wanted that to work out. It's like, well, you can either keep sitting here waiting for other people to change, but the only person you can change is you. And your dream isn't codependent on certain people being in your life. You might think it is, but it's not. Your dreams coming into reality can only come into reality with people who are kind of in the same energy as you are, and viewing life and kind of being on the same page as you at the same time. Those are the people your dreams can come into reality with. So I think as you offer yourself love to do this shadow work within yourself, to keep believing in your dreams, maintain balance within yourself, to keep kind of being like a good mother, father, coach voice to yourself. This is like the mom and the dad. You're getting out of more codependent energy, looking to other people to play that role in your life. And you're going to give yourself the things that you wish other people would have given you, to maintain this balance within yourself. And again, appreciate your worth and value. And I think as you move forward, if you're in relationships, maybe these were some other people in your family or community or something that was causing you some confusion, or trying to get one or both of you to invest in a more worldly, shadowy way of being, or just, we can all be tempted in the world in our more worldly, egoic nature. And if people see the truth, I'm already in relationships with people who are loving and nurturing and supportive. Even though they have to work through that mental conflict, they work through that mental conflict because they've already learned, if I invest in indulging myself, kind of being more about myself, and I don't take action in love, things aren't going to work out the way I want, because I'm kind of planting bad seeds. So if I were to go take action more out of pride or ego or lust or greed, I'm planting bad seeds, and I've already learned that when I do that, it doesn't work out the way I was thinking it was going to work out. That's part of the rules to this game of life, that a little bit of you reap what you sow, right? And why would I do that anyway? If I have loving, nurturing, supportive people, and as people are moving forward in life, at any time in their life, we have to reevaluate our friendships and our relationships. Like, wait a minute, are we still on the same page? Or somewhere along the way, did you start to get the idea that it was more about you, or more just and fair to, at any time people can kind of drive their life off into the ditch. It seems like you're more about this and this and this now instead of this, and I'm still motivated by kind of working together from love. You seem to kind of have gone off the rails a little bit, and at any time we have to evaluate, jobs, friendships, and relationships. Are the people that I'm moving forward with, am I in a relationship with them and staying in a relationship with them for the right reasons? Are they staying in the relationship with me for the right reasons? And if that's not my truth, am I willing to let them move forward? I could view them as a very stable, abundant, loving person. But if I kind of feel like, again, everybody can have this way of viewing life, and how they like to live their life. And initially we can get in them, but it was to help us get more clear about what our truth is and our truth isn't. And we can have love for people, but kind of how what you want to invest your time, energy, and effort into could have changed over time, and that's really not my truth. Or I feel like maybe you are a just and fair and loving person, but was I hiding that maybe I could have gotten caught up in the relationship because I wanted to be in a relationship? I was kind of caught up in the illusion, maybe not seeing the truth. Everybody at any point has healing to do. Are we all healing? Are we all being just and fair? Are we all looking at life and keeping things in perspective? Are people kind of becoming a little more egotistical or stubborn or bossy or controlling? But anyway, high vibe people are going to invest in truth and love. The people in their life who want to keep moving forward with them in that way are people they'll keep investing in. And people in their life who seem to maybe here in the six, well, it's kind of like a Six of Cups card, or it's kind of like, I don't know if I want to move forward like that. We offer love and encouragement to people, but then we kind of listen to our intuition that I kind of think maybe how they want to move forward and how I want to move forward is different. And both people could be high vibe loving people, but we can all kind of heal from some issues that might have kind of been buried underneath the surface that kind of drive why we do what we do in the world. And then as time goes by, we could kind of, and we can just get in a relationship because we're attracted to people. And we're kind of caught up in the illusion. And it's all this experience of going on this journey to learn lessons, to get more clear about what our truth is and isn't. And then sometimes we part ways with people. And some people could be kind of trying to figure out what their truth is. They don't want to take energy out of shadowy energy. They don't want to get in relationships with people who are creating an illusion. And that's the whole thing. It's not a good idea just to get out of a relationship because you meet someone who you think is more on the same page, that you have to make that decision if you're going to leave a job, a friendship, a relationship. I mean, there might be contributing factors that contribute to it other than other people, but to really make that decision because it's your truth. And know that you know it's your truth. And the people some people have done that. Other people are going through this process to really not wanting to make a decision out of more stay in relationships or get out of relationships for shadowy reasons, because it's probably not going to work out the way you want. So, but some high vibe people, they're going to keep investing in truth and love and investing in the people in their life who they know are on that page, the people in their life who they know are not on that page, they're distancing themselves from. And then there's some people that are kind of in a mismatched relationship or going through a time period where they've kind of got to figure out what their truth is. And other people are like, yeah, I'm not motivated to change or do love. I am more about myself or these things of the world, and that is my truth. So what's coming up for some people who are more aligned with their worldly or shadowy Cancer energy that they might not see coming up? Okay. The Eight of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the High Priestess, and the Five of Pentacles, because of the King of Wands and the Knight of Swords. So, high vibe energy again is you're offering truth and love to people, to help them work through their fears, their insecurities, their self-limiting beliefs, whatever, to love and believe in themselves, to work together with you cooperatively. But some worldly, shadowy energy, people could be defensive to listening to their intuition, or being more bold and brave and confident in King of Wands energy. Some people just like to stay in their comfort zone. I know how to live like this. I like to hang out with people who live their life a certain way and view life a certain way, because then I'm never stepping outside of my comfort zone. And if I step outside my comfort zone, I haven't been there before. And I have nothing to follow. I'm like in unknown territory. That's what happens when you shed an old layer of yourself. Just like when people went off to college, and some people didn't go off to college because that's too scary. That's unknown territory. I'm not going to go, or I'm not going to go get a new job because that's scary. I'm just going to stay at this job. And some people could really be in a mental prison about looking at life from a higher perspective, or even having hope and faith and belief in themselves. And maybe they have kind of a harsh, critical inner voice, and the counterpart to the Queen of Swords is the King of Swords, and I view the King of Swords as kind of like our self-protective, self-defensive nature. You can't go out there and play in the world. You could get hurt. You need to stay in here. And we kind of imprison our more hopeful, believing, creative, inspired nature because our mind has told us, like our ego, is running our life. And it's like, you need to stay here. You need to be safe. And we need to speak up to our own shadowy energy, which then the way the cards are is kind of reversed, where our more shadowy nature is trying to control us, and out of having hope and faith and belief in our dreams and wanting justice in our life, we have to stand up to our shadow nature. We have this dualistic nature within ourselves. The battle starts within ourselves. If we're in a mental prison of taking more bold, brave, confident action and loving and believing in ourselves, there are people in the world that are happy we don't. You stay right there, and I'm going to be in a relationship with you. This makes me look like a shining star. The Queen of Swords is Aquarius energy. I get to indulge in a relationship with someone who might be hopeful and believing and loving and encouraging, but they don't know their worth and value. So I'm going to indulge in a relationship and hide the fact that nothing's ever going to change here. In our Five of Pentacles, we're going to operate from our worldly nature. And I am defensive to learning lessons in life and freeing myself from anything. So I want you to keep moving forward with me. You stay in a mental prison. This is great. And other people start to realize nothing's going to change here. And all this process could have been to get people to stand up for themselves and be inspired to listen more to their intuition than their fear, and detach from that foundation and stand up for what they believe in. And when they do that, some of the people that were kind of more bossy or controlling or fearful or didn't want to change, then those people feel betrayed secretly. Because you did something they don't do. They lose the battle against their own shadowy nature and the people in their life that tell them not to live their life any differently. And you moved on. And, at any time when people are being kind of shadowy, there's probably some high vibrational people in their life who are trying to offer them love and encouragement to move forward with them. It's like, why... offering them love and encouragement. Why are you not getting out of your defensiveness? Why are you so much up in your head? Why do you try to control things? Why don't you listen to love and intuition? Because the High Priestess is Pisces and Cancer energy. To be more inspired by love so that we can move forward. And when the other people are like, no, I am defensive to that. We should keep doing this. Eventually some high vibe people in their life are like, You do you, but I'm going to move on. I would have liked to have been in a relationship. I would have maybe liked to marry you, but I can't keep repeating this pattern. And you seem to be caught up in this way of living life that you find it emotionally fulfilling to maybe be defensive or be bossy or controlling or more about yourself or more motivated by the world instead of love. And I'm going to go find the people who are more motivated by love. And then these people will tell all the people in their life that the high vibe people in their life aren't who they said they were, and that they feel betrayed by them, and they were the ones left out in the cold. Because they have their way of living life that they like to live it, and other people weren't willing to keep indulging in that way of living life, so of course they're mad. Both people can feel mad. It's just the difference is the Five of Swords and the Queen of Swords both being Aquarius energy. Some people do think in how they harness their Aquarius energy. Don't have to be an Aquarius sun sign. But they're either more caught up in the worldly dream and making their life about that, and the other people aren't. Or they are kind of a little bit more about themselves and their ego and their image and things like that. And the other people are like, do I want stability and security in my life? Yeah. Am I caught up in all that other bullshit? No, but you are. You can make your whole life about it. It's the most important thing in your life. To have a certain status and image in the world and have people view you a certain way. And love isn't what drives and motivates you. So those people will probably go to get in a relationship with someone else who's felt betrayed by people. And again, high vibe energy is being truthful and authentic, hiding the foundation that they operate from. I try to present myself as this loving family person that you should invest in a relationship with me. But really, it's all a strategy to get people in a relationship with me. But it's more driven either because I'm codependent and just want to be in a relationship, or because it's good for my status and my ego and image, I think, or just because I'm mad at someone else, I want to get in a relationship with you. I want those people to feel left out in the cold. Look at me, I got in another relationship. Well, bully for you that you went and got in another relationship for the purpose of making other people feel left out in the cold. Wonderful. It's not quite acting with character and integrity, right? But some people justify all those things because it's really all about them. And other people in the world are just pawns in their game of trying to manipulate other people, control other people, have a certain status or image in the world. Defensive to seeing the truth, defensive to growing up and healing themselves, and other people are moving on in truth and love. And, other people, eventually the people who might stay in a relationship with them are just maybe other people who, and to each their own, felt like fearful their dreams won't come into reality, and, they're willing to take that job, get in that friendship, get in that relationship, get in that marriage, and move forward with them until they see the truth. It's like God uses, whenever we're in shadowy energy and we're being more immature or we're kind of driving our life off into the ditch, there can be other people who want to be in a relationship with us. But those people might kind of, either they're those same kind of people too, or they realize, yeah, we're kind of not on the same page right now, are we? And they're going to move on, But so God uses us when we're in our more shadowy, immature, defensive, egotistical, caught up in the world type of energy. We get in relationships with other people, and those people then get to decide if that's their truth or not. And, you've had people you've moved away from. Some of the people in your life, they know people in their life they don't want to be in a relationship with anymore. We're all just trying to find people that are kind of on the same page at the same time as us. But it's just more high vibrational people are really motivated and inspired by love, but we've all learned different lessons about how to work cooperatively with people, and some people are more high vibrational and authentic and loving than some other people, and those people in turn might be more high vibrational and loving than some other people in their life. It's the whole spectrum. Kind of in tarot, they kind of talk about it being at different timelines, kind of different levels of emotional maturity and enlightenment. So I think high vibe people are going to, I think, when you're going in alignment with like high vibe energy of the universe, I think things go in your favor. The divine's helping you realize who's on the same page as you, who's not. The divine is working with other people to get the people who are more on the same page as you to come in contact with you and see the truth of who you are, and for you to see the truth of other people that are in the same energy as you, because you were willing to learn and grow and heal and mature yourself versus being prideful or egotistical or stubborn. And I think you'll have like new jobs, new friendships, new relationships. If you're not in a relationship or married, you could get in a new one. If you didn't have a good job, you could be getting a better job. And some of the other people are still kind of defensive to listening to their more high vibrational nature. And they're like, no, I'm the boss. It's like, okay, well, you think you can manipulate things to go the way you want, but you're not the boss, and you can't control other people from listening to their intuition. And other people do listen to their intuition. And if other people's intuition tells them you haven't healed, you're egotistical, you're bossy and controlling, you're trying to create an illusion, and that's not really the truth of who you are. You might try to create the illusion that you're this pillar of society who walks the talk, but you're really more about yourself and the world. And you don't really walk the talk. I view the Five of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles as Taurus energy, and that's the difference in Taurus energy. You either are who you say you are, and you're really walking the talk, which if you're going to get in a love relationship with people, you should be emotionally investing in them. And some people are like, no, I don't do that. I just have sex with them, because I don't want to emotionally invest. That's entering the danger zone. I don't do that. And other people can tell that people really aren't authentically emotionally investing in it, and they move on. And then these people are mad. I talked, I quacked, I did all this stuff to look like love. It looks just like love. Why wouldn't you stay? Because my intuition tells me you're not being truthful and authentic and actually emotionally investing. And I want to be in a relationship with someone who does, or just be out of this. I do not want to be in a relationship that creates the illusion is just and fair and moving forward in truth and love, but it's just an illusion. You can go create your illusion with someone else. And those people are trying to do that right now, but other people listen to their intuition and they see through the illusion. So there you go, Cancer. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.